Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are continuing with the My Book, My Thoughts Read Along With Me series where we are reading Show You No Mercy, the first book in my trilogy, chapters 9 and 10. 6 hours had passed by the time Nora got back to Brooklyn. The thought of being there without Milan was a pain she couldn't bear. He was more than just her brother. He was her best friend, her confidant, her protector, and provider. Nora hadn't seen or spoken to her mother in years. She feared how her mother would react to her coming home after all this time. Nora's car windows were tinted, so nobody knew she was pulling up on the block. I used to run these streets back in the day, she smiled to herself. She sat in her car in front of her mother's house. The block was quiet, which was a surprise to her. Even in the cold weather, people would be outside posted up, causing trouble with the little fast-ass girls walking to school. That just reminds me of when I was in school, when I was in high school, and I used to leave school, and they would be posted up on the corner, just chilling, waiting for all the little high school girls to come out of school. Pervert, you're nasty, okay? But no, for real, they used to be posted up, just standing on the corner. We walked down the block, they on this corner. We walked up the block, they on the next corner. Y'all don't got jobs. You know what's crazy? Like, I never thought about that when I was in school. Like, when I came out of school, I never thought to think to myself, do these people got jobs? Like, why they always posted up outside and they going nowhere? I'm talking about from 7 in the morning to 3 o'clock when I got out of school. Like, y'all just posted up. No care in the world. It's crazy. Nora finally got the courage to knock on the door. Laverne opened the door with bloodshot eyes and a drink in her hand. She grilled her up and down. What the hell are you doing here? And she slammed the door in Nora's face before she could answer. Child, what's about to happen? Because if I come home and you say to me, what the hell are you doing here? I'm your child? What are we talking about? Bang, bang, bang. So this is it. Laverne opened the door after the third loud knock. Stop banging on my damn door like that and get in here before the nosy ass neighbors see you. Nora walked in with her 2 suitcases and threw them on the floor. She noticed how polished the hardwood floors were, and she had never seen it so clean. She must be messing with a nigga with money, she thought to herself. Nora took a seat on the couch. What you got to eat? She asked. She wasn't a very communicative person when it came to her mother. They hated each other, and Laverne was a neighborhood crackhead, but she wasn't always like that. She had a first child at 16, Milan. He was her favorite, unlike Nora. Nora was a product of rape, and Laverne's hatred for her ran deep. The day Nora was born, Laverne passed her over to her mother. She didn't start raising Nora until her mother died of a gunshot to the head. Ooh, what the? What's... What kind of, I might need to do a prequel to when Nora was growing up, or not, or before, like a story about Laverne and her situation, because she was sexually assaulted, had a baby, hate that baby, gave the baby to her mama, the baby's the grandmother. And then her mama get shot in the head and she had to take her baby. Why did your mama get shot in the head? I might need to do a prequel about Laverne's life because it sounds like her life was turned. Okay? You walk up in my house after all these years. You don't call, you don't write, but you come up in here asking about what the hell I got to eat? You need to leave. If any of these niggas find out that you back in town, you're dead. Man, when have I ever been scared of anybody? Nora crossed her arms. You need to be scared of them Black Lives Matter people. How the hell you kill an unarmed black man? I'm ashamed to call you my daughter. Laverne walked away from her and into the kitchen. Nora followed behind her. Laverne wore a long, silky green robe with nothing underneath. Her Ugg slippers were new, and Laverne never had any money. Her mother died and left her this house, so she couldn't afford name brands. Nora ignored Laverne's comment as she scanned the kitchen. There were new cabinets, new sink, a dishwasher, and a new dining table. Laverne, where all these come from? Nora asked suspiciously. Laverne tried to walk away, but Nora shoved her up against the wall. Laverne, I'm not playing with you. Where did all of this shit come from? Your ass ain't got no money. First of all, why you talking to your mama like that? If that was my mama, first of all, that would never be my mother because she would have slapped me. She don't care how old I am, okay? Who are you talking to? Box. My mother's Jamaican. We don't play them games. Yeah, no. That's how you know this is not a Caribbean family. Because you couldn't talk to your mama like that. She pushed Nora back and turned away, not wanting to look her in the eyes. You're assaulting me, officer, Laverne smirked. Oh, she's shady for that. Nora paced back and forth with her hands on her hips. Tell me where you got all this shit from. Laverne tied the strings of her robe into a bow and ripped off her pixie wig and put it on the counter. You got some nerve coming up here questioning me. When were you going to tell me you got married and had kids? I had to find out from stage when she called me. Nora punched the yellow painted walls. You crack whore. You need to stay the hell away from my girls. Look what you did to me in Milan. He would have never got shot if it wasn't for you. She walked away trying to keep the peace, but Laverne wasn't done with her. How you gonna tell your mama that it's her fault that her son died? How you gonna call your mama a crack whore? And she ain't slapped you yet. Don't you dare. Laverne pulled out a blunt from under her stocking cap. This is the ghettoest shit ever. Don't you dare blame me for the life you had as a child. You wanted to be out there on them streets. Nora kicked over a plant and pointed her finger in Laverne's face. I hate you. Laverne slapped her so hard she bust the side of her lip. Yeah. Nora spit out blood onto the floor. I guess I should add that to the other bruises on my body that you gave me. Whoop. Wait a minute. There's some domestic shit going on up in this household. Laverne blew smoke in her face. I should have aborted you when I had the chance, she laughed. Your father R-word me. I hated you the moment I laid eyes on you. The crazy part about this is I've read stories and of course watched movies and TV shows and stuff where the mother actually resents their child because they were sexually assaulted, which is unfortunate because the child didn't ask to be brought into this world. So just seeing how Laverne talks to Nora, I'm pretty sure that hurts, but she's not going to show it because she's just like this, I'm tough, I got this, I'm a thug, blah blah, ain't nothing gonna bother me. You're bothered. Nora's eyes watered. Yeah, you're bothered. Well, you have made that perfectly clear my entire life. Laverne continued to laugh until she started coughing. She sipped a drink of wine. Aw, are you gonna cry now, Nora? I don't care why you're here, but you need to get the fuck on before I feed you to the wolves. Bury your ass next to your father. Her mother is ruthless. Okay, so see, this is where Nora get it from. Her mother is ruthless. Let me just read this for y'all again. She said, I don't care why you're here, but you need to get the fuck on before I feed you to the wolves. Bury your ass next to your father. Who says that to their child? I don't care how old you are. I will never speak to my child like that. But then again, Nora was being disrespectful too. So hey, you better, you want to dish it? You better take it, honey. The hell? Nora felt a pounding in her ears and grabbed Laverne by the neck and swung her across the kitchen floor and into the hallway. Laverne's champagne glass dropped on the floor, causing her to cut her foot. She coughed and coughed as Nora continued to choke her. You worthless bitch, Nora screamed as she pounded Laverne's head. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you, she cried. Let's just continue. Laverne gasped for air. I can't. Nora loosened her grip. Breathe. Laverne grabbed Nora's hair and yanked as hard as she could. The two tussled for a while until they were exhausted. Nora let her go and rolled onto the ground, and they laid there breathing heavily. Warren Lafayette, Laverne said. What about him? The day after he got out, he came to see me, asking all these questions about you. She got her strength back to sit up straight and lean against the wall. I ain't tell him shit. I don't even know where you live. Only thing I told him was that you have a husband and 2 kids. Had a husband and 2 kids. Nora corrected and stood up. She sat at the kitchen table and buried her head into her arms. Laverne followed behind her. What you mean had? She sat across from her. What happened? Nora still had not gotten a chance to grieve Henry. In that moment, her walls came tumbling down at the thought of not seeing him again. She let out a hard sigh and closed her eyes. She felt the tightness in her chest, and her tears were a river flowing down her cheeks. Laverne cleared her throat and placed her hand on Nora's knee. It's okay. Everything is going to be okay. She pulled her hand away. You still can't stay here. She said, everything's going to be okay. You're going to be good, but you need to get out. Immediately. Expeditiously. I can't. I shot a cop, Nora blurted out. Laverne rolled her eyes. You did what? You definitely can't stay here now. What the hell were you thinking? They were going to haul my ass to jail for killing Henry. Someone set me up, and I'm not going to jail until I find my daughters. Laverne shook her knee uncontrollably and took another pull from her blunt. How long you got until they come looking for you? 3, maybe 4 days? Buffalo Police Department doesn't have jurisdiction in New York City, but there will be a warrant out for my arrest. Laverne paced back and forth. That means you got 3 to 4 days to get your daughters back and clear your fucking name. You can stay the night, but tomorrow you need to go because this is the first place they're going to look. I mean, they just fought, but it's family over everything. Nora hugged Laverne, and Laverne hesitated before wrapping her arms around her. Nora took a deep and satisfied breath. With a warm voice, Laverne said, if you're looking for Warren, Celine is the only one that knows where to find him. That's the end of chapter 9. Okay, now we're starting chapter 10. The sweat from Nora's body soaked in the gray Bombay dyeing bed sheets. The mattress was now visible after she tossed and turned all night. Henry, Henry, she screamed and jumped in a panic. Laverne rushed into the room to find Nora gasping for air. She placed her hand on Nora's chest. Breathe. Laverne inhaled and exhaled with her. Just breathe. Nora inhaled and exhaled slowly until she was breathing at a normal pace. You still having those panic attacks? You taking your medication? Laverne asked. Nora looked down at her hands. I missed a few days. It's no big deal. Laverne stood over her. You know how you get when you don't take them. She rolled her eyes. Laverne, it's kind of too late for you to act like a mother now. I'm a grown-ass woman. That part. Take your damn meds. I don't need you having a damn panic attack in my damn house. Laverne slammed the door behind her. It's a whole lot going on. They need to get their lives. Nora wiped the foggy mirror after getting out of the shower. The steam caused the heat to spread throughout the bathroom. She frowned in the mirror as she stared at herself. This is not supposed to be happening, she thought. Sage and Avery invaded her vision. Her tears streamed down her face so effortlessly. Her mother screamed for her to get out the bathroom. Stop wasting my water. You ain't paying for that shit. I mean, she turned off the water. Calm down. Damn. Laverne had the stereo blasting and her hips swayed from side to side as she danced to the sounds of Sade. She always had a drink in her hand no matter what time of the day it was. Nora shook her head as she sat down to eat breakfast, and Laverne turned the music down. Still wearing the same robe from yesterday, she sat next to her. I would like to help you, Laverne expressed. Nora sighed and placed a fork on the table. Laverne, if I thought you could help, I would have asked. She bit a piece of the overcooked bacon. Tell me more about Cece. What's she been up to? Laverne sucked her teeth and stood up to open the drawer in the kitchen. She took out a bag of weed and some rolling paper. Damn, she don't do nothing but smoke? What the hell? That chick thinks she the hottest thing out. She got a trap out in Bed-Stuy, but does all her business in Red Hook Project Building C. She got hoes running around here selling they ass for her. What is she, some type of madam? Laverne licked the paper as she rolled the blunt. Nah, she's a pimp. I mean, that's a madam. But if I was you, I would not go alone. She got niggas posted up on the block. She not the same Celine you knew back then. Okay, so Celine is the girl from the prologue that was at the courthouse with her, telling her like, "Yo, if you wasn't my friend, I would have killed you myself and got that money because Red had a hit out on her." So that's who Celine is. Okay, so we got to see what happened with how Celine grew up. So we already know she a madam. Celine might need her own book. Nora got up from her seat and threw on a black hoodie, coat, and a pair of black Timberland boots. I ain't the same girl she knew back then either. She put her service pistol behind her shirt and a smaller gun wrapped around her ankle, covered by her jeans. Hold up. You walking around with your service pistol? This girl's stupid. Laverne blew a puff from her blunt. Be careful. Nora slammed the door behind her. I love you, Laverne whispered. Aw, so why you ain't tell her that to her face? Maybe I want to be fighting so much. Maybe, you know what it is? I feel like Laverne needs to tell her, like, I loved you. Yes, this happened to me. It's not your fault. You didn't ask to be here. You didn't ask to be treated like this, but I love you and I need you to know that. Like, I feel like that's what Nora needs to hear. Maybe that's why she turned out the way she did, because she thought her mama don't care about her anyways. So I'm going to be out here acting a fool, because the only time I get attention is when I'm out here acting a fool. That part. Nora stood across the street from Red Hook Projects, watching the females come and go. Her black hoodie over her head covering most of her face, she spotted at least 6 men guarding the door of Building C. A flat screen TV sat on top of 2 cartons, distracting the men from noticing Nora approaching. She kept her hoodie on when she got to the front of the building. The men stopped watching the TV and shut it off. You lost? Someone asked. Tell Cece I need to speak to her, Nora uttered. The guys laughed. Tell Cece I need to speak to her, another guy mimicked. You must have a death wish. Nora pulled her hoodie back, showing just enough of her face. Their stunned facial expression gave Nora the boost that she needed. Though she wasn't liked by most, her presence was always felt. Someone knocked on the window to the lobby. She said, You know who I am? Yeah, that bitch. Celine walked out slowly and dropped her hands to her side. She stared at Nora and frowned. Celine was the Kim Kardashian of the hood, and she only wore the expensive clothes, drove luxury cars, and she always had at least 6 bodyguards with her. Well, 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 look who it is. The cop that kills unarmed black men. Damn! She left Buffalo, and she come to Brooklyn, and y'all still on her body. Like, damn. Celine opened the door for Nora to come in. Her soldiers followed behind her. We need to talk. Alone, Nora said, looking back at her soldiers. Celine smiled. You got some nerve coming back to Brooklyn after all these years making demands and shit. It's about Warren. Celine signaled for her men to wait outside. The silence was so loud that Nora could hear her heart beating. The sound of footsteps shuffling echoed through the hallway, and Nora eyeballed the cobwebs in the corner of the ceiling. This must be her whorehouse, she thought. She said this must be her whorehouse. Speak, Celine uttered. I need to know where he is. I know you know where. Celine let out a loud laugh and slapped her thigh. When did you become a comedian? She slowly walked towards Nora. I haven't seen your phony ass in years. Even if I knew where Warren was, I still wouldn't tell you. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't even have known Warren. That day you came out of the courthouse, if it weren't for me, you would have been dead. Ooh, child. Celine crossed her arms in front of her chest. Nora said if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't even know Warren. Cece said if it wasn't for me, you would have been dead that day at the courthouse. What are we talking about? I saved you. Girl, put some respect on my name. Red wanted to kill you that day, but I stopped him because I wanted to believe that my best friend would never do something like that. Celine turned her back to Nora. Tell me the truth. What happened that night with you and Warren? Who shot Mickey? Celine faced her again. Nora sighed. I know you don't want to believe this, but Warren took the kill shot. But it wasn't supposed to go down that way. We were supposed to get the cash and dip. Mickey was going to kill me, and Warren did what he had to do. He saved my life. Now, girl, why you lying? Celine smirked. You forgot I know you? Mercy. Nora clenched her hands and jaw. Celine chuckled when she noticed that calling her Mercy annoyed her. Sorry, I meant to say Mrs. Nora Woods, the lead homicide detective with her white husband and picket fence. How are your daughters, by the way? Nora felt her chest tighten. Just the thought that Celine could have information about her daughters enraged her. Without thinking, she shoved her up against the chipped and cracked white wall. With her hand gripped around Celine's neck, Nora pulled out her service pistol and pressed it against her cheek. Tell me where my daughters are, or I will let one off in your face. She looked back at the door and saw Celine's shoulders distracted by the TV through the window. Celine let out a big laugh. Mercy, be smart about this. You know how this is going to go. If they come back in here, she pressed the gun deeper into her cheek. I don't know shit about your daughters, so I suggest you get that damn gun out of my face. What the hell am I doing? Nora said to herself. So Warren didn't mention anything to you about killing my husband and taking my daughters? Celine's facial expression went blank. With her mouth open, she couldn't find the words to say. Yeah, my mouth was open too when we found out, girl. Nora released her grip from Celine's neck and lowered her gun. Realizing that Celine didn't know, she screamed and punched a wall in frustration. She shook her head swiftly from the pain and collapsed on the stairs. Your husband is dead? Celine questioned. Nora shook her head yes. Celine sat beside her and placed her arm around her shoulders. Nora allowed her head to sink into Celine's chest as she wailed. You can't go to war with Warren. It's only going to make things worse. You need to talk things out. Whatever happened in the past happened, and you can't change that. You can only focus on the right now. Well, that was nice of Celine to say. Unlike Laverne, who just like bickering back and forth with her, Celine was like, your husband's dead? He took your girls? Come sit down, girl. You obviously going through something. You right here. Put your hair right here, girl. Don't go to war. This ain't gonna work. It's gonna make it worse. Nora stood up. I need to know where Warren is hiding at. And I know he ain't at Paulette. He wouldn't be so stupid. She wiped her face. Celine looked away from Nora. You know how the street shit go. I can't jeopardize what I got going on. You came to the wrong person. She stood up. That's how you gonna do me, Cece? Nora gripped her white mulatto blouse. Celine wrapped her fingers around Nora's wrist, pulling her off of her blouse. Celine shoved her against the dirty chip wall and held her revolver to the side of her head. Bitch, this is 100% ultra premium mulberry silk. You can't just go grabbing on it, Celine said. I know that's right. Girl, you can't go grabbing on this. You know how much this cost? Bitch, this is half your salary. Shit. Celine shoved her gun back into her waist. Now, as for Warren, talk to Derek Jean. He goes by Trigger. He looked out for Warren when he was locked up, and he might know. He owns a mechanic shop out in Canarsie called Joe's Shop. Without so much as a thank you, Nora placed her hoodie over her head and walked out the door. One last thing, Celine uttered. Don't bring your ass back here no more, because next time I won't be so nice. You were nice enough to give her a name. So now we know Trigger's name is Derek Jean. Okay? Ain't no hiding from us, Trigger. We know you. We got the drop. So that was the end of chapter 10. And I can't wait to see what Nora does. Because I think she's about to do some things. And we about to be like on some, oh, no she didn't. Thank you for watching. And if you can't wait for me to finish reading, my book is available on Audible, Amazon, Kindle, my website, and my TikTok shop. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell because there's more to come.